class, we'll be looking into 1978. Now, first, I have to let you know that Part B and Part C is not part of our uh, study for now. This will come out on next term, so we're just going to erase those things. Nope, 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 nope. Nope, 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 nope. All right, now, and we're just going to work on A here. Now, when you're given the function, find the maximum area of the rectangle that has two vertices on the x-axis and then two on the graph of f. Now, when you look into this graph, you will realize that this has to be even function because of the x square you realize here. And then maximum will be when x equals 0 and e to the 0. So we, in fact, the graph can easily be imagined go down this way, some sort of go down this way. Now, so we're looking for the rectangle. Then here we get to realize the rectangle will be something like this. That means the base, because this portion is x, then base will be simply 2x, and height will be equal to y. But y, we know that to be this value. So maximum area here, that means once again area will be equal to 2x times y. But since y is equal to that, we get to realize 2x times e to the negative x squared. Now as we take the derivative, a prime, then we have to do the product rule. Here we have 2 times x times the derivative of this, which ends up in e to the negative x squared times negative 2x. Now, second, plus this one as it is, e to the negative x squared times the derivative of x, which is 1. So, we realize that the common factor between these two would have been e to the negative x squared. So, as we factor out 2 times e to the negative x squared, we realize here becomes negative 2x squared plus 1. Now, by setting this one equal to 0, then we will realize that this could never be equal to 0. So only thing that we get to realize is this portion has to be equal to 0. Negative 2x squared plus 1 has to be equal to 0. That means 1 equals 2 times x squared. Here x squared now then is equal to 1 over 2. Then x now will be square root of 1 half plus or minus. Of course, it cannot be. When x is negative, then we're simply looking at x values right here. So now, which simplifies into square root of 2 over 2. The question is, find the maximum area. Now, we need to find the area. So, we just found out the x value. Then area now, by plugging this value back into this. So we get to realize here, the maximum area must be 2 times radical 2 over 2 times e to the negative radical 2 over 2 squared. We get to realize these two cancels out, so we have radical 2. Now here, it becomes negative still, but this portion is equal to 1 half, so e to the negative 1 half. In other words, radical 2 over square root of e becomes our final answer. Now, let's move on to the next question. This is a classic example, 1979 AB3. Find the maximum volume of a box. Okay, by cutting out squares from the corners of 8 inches by 15 inches. So we have paper or some sort of cardboard. Now we're gonna cut out the corners. You probably would have remembered this kind of question from pre-calculus last year. And each side is equal to x, where the whole thing here becomes 8, and then this one will be 15. Now, but when you fold it and then making a rectangular box, you would have realized, because corner is x, the height would have been x, and this dimension, let's use the blue line, this blue line must be equal to this portion, which is equal to 8 minus 2x. And then you can easily see that this front green line segment must be right here, which is 15 minus 2x. Now, so therefore, maximum volume. Then once again, we are looking for volume formula, which is here x times 15 minus 2x times 8 minus 2x. In this case, we have three things, so why don't we multiply them out? And then we have first, I like to multiply those two things out, then 15 times 8, we end up getting 120. And then we have minus, this portion becomes 30, 16, so minus 46x. And then the last term becomes plus 4x squared. Now by multiplying by x to all of them, we end up getting 4x cubed minus 46x squared plus 120x. Now taking the derivative of b prime, then we get 12x squared, 2 times of that, which end up in minus 92x and plus 120. Now here we can actually set this one equal to 0. We will we can divide all sides by 2, then we will end up getting 6x squared minus 46x plus 60 equals to 0. Now, we can factor this one, in fact, 6 and, so this becomes 6x, and here minus 6 minus 10. And you, here becomes 36 and then minus 10. So now, an x can be either, from here we get 6, or from here we get 5 over 3. Now, but you will realize that x cannot be equal to 6, because if x were to be 6, then 8 minus 2x here will be positive. So by rejecting that answer, we'll end up getting x would have been 5 over 3. Now, here they're asking for maximum volume. So maximum volume, by plugging in 5 over 3 would have been this. And V is equal to 5 over 3 times 15 minus 10 over 3 times 8 minus 10 over 3, and 5 over 3. Now this becomes 45, so we end up getting 35 over 3. Here 24, so it becomes 14 over 3. So that becomes our final answer. Now, once you multiply on the bottom again, 27, I'm just going to borrow my calculator to calculate 5, 35, and 14. Which is 2450. Now since it's inches, so we'll call it cubic inches. Alright, so we finished 2 more questions.